Well, look, for a long time in this country, you've seen politicians actually fronting shows. You've seen many Labour politicians, for instance, on LBC, and there never seemed to be much of a problem. But of course, when it comes to GB News now, seemingly there is. That's because, of course, people are attacking GB News from the very start. In fact, before it even launched, because if you see all too often in this country nowadays, sadly, lefties, very intolerant of anyone who doesn't hold their views, try and shut down debate, shut down events, and in this case, try and shut down a channel. I mean, you've even seen some people describe GB News as a problem that needs to be solved. And I have to say, the media rules and regulations in this country just seem to be completely outdated, set up for a time where you basically had 4 channels on a TV and no internet. I mean, for instance, why is the ridiculous BBC licence fee still in existence? Why can't you have political advertising on radio or TV when you can have it on online videos that show you much of the same content nowadays? Ofcom announcing their latest decision that they have found 5 GB News programmes featuring politicians acting as news presenters in breach of due impartiality rules, and saying they've put GB News on notice that any more repeated breaches could result in the imposition of a statutory sanction. And what they're saying is that after their investigation, they've concluded that 5 programmes on GB News featured politicians acting as news presenters, breaking due impartiality rules. They say that 5 programmes in question contained a mix of news and current affairs content, and they found host politicians acting as news readers, news interviews or news reporters in sequences which clearly constituted news. And this refers to 2 episodes of Jacob Rees-Mogg's show, as well as the show featuring Esther McVey and Philip Davies, the Conservative MPs. But isn't it a bit ridiculous that you get these sorts of rulings when at the same time you see so-called journalists who are more like activists on social media, on Twitter, constantly pushing their personal views, or giving interviews with their personal views, or writing columns with their personal views, and then going on TV and presenting news and sort of pretending to be neutral. With politicians, you know what their views are, what their biases may be. It seems to me to be more honest, actually, than some of the people that you see, as I said, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on newspaper columns or interviews, giving personal views and then sort of masquerading as neutral on the telly. But the Ofcom point of view is that politicians have an inherently partial role in society, and that news content presented by them is likely to be viewed by audiences in light of that perceived bias. And they say that in their view, the use of politicians to present news risks undermining the integrity and credibility of regulated broadcast news. But that, of course, is an opinion. The audience may completely disagree with that. As I said, this all seems very outdated to me. But look, GB News hitting back today with a spokesman saying that they're deeply concerned by the decisions that Ofcom has made today. And they point out that extraordinarily, Ofcom has determined that a programme which it acknowledges was impartial and lacking in any expression of opinion still somehow breaches its impartiality rules just because an imaginary viewer might think otherwise. They say Ofcom has now arbitrarily changed the test so that it is no longer was it impartial, but could someone think it might not be? And they described that as a chilling development for all broadcasters, for freedom of speech, and for everyone in the UK. Do let me know what you make of all of that in the comments below though, please guys. I will of course keep bringing you all the latest on this and more here on my channel. So please do whack this video a quick thumbs up. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.